Welcome back to Candy's Classic Game Shrine, everyone. I'm back today to talk about another Virtual Boy Flashcart known as the HyperBoy. The HyperBoy comes from the same creator as the HyperFlash32, another Virtual Boy Flashcart that I've covered. While at first glance these two carts may seem very similar with their aluminum shells and both having Hyper in the name, they're actually quite different. For those unfamiliar with the HyperFlash32, it's a multi-cart of sorts. Using an external power source, you load up multiple ROMs to it via a computer, then using the built-in e-ink screen and haptic buttons, you can select the ROM that you want and then play it. The HyperBoy is a little bit more similar to the FlashBoy Plus, since both carts are meant to be a bit more budget-friendly, can only have one game flashed to them at a time, and neither one of them have an e-ink screen. But unlike the FlashBoy Plus, the HyperBoy can hold games much larger, such as Hyper Fighting, due to its 32 megabit flash memory, and it does not require a backup battery due to its NVSRAM. The FlashBoy Plus requires you to pad a ROM before you flash it to the cart, but the HyperBoy automatically pads the ROM when added via the flasher programs. This is also Kevin's first cart that does not require any donor parts. Luckily, Thunderstruck has created a means for everyone to get the ROMs flashed regardless of your operating system. The easiest solution would be to download the Thunderstruck HyperBoy Flasher utility for Windows. It comes with a user-friendly GUI and it makes it pretty foolproof. Trust me, I'm a fool, and even I can make it work. If you're not a Windows user, Thunderstruck has also made several CLIs for Linux and Mac users. Personally, I'm a Mac user, but I'm not savvy enough to use CLIs, so I just cheat the system and use a Windows VM instead. I find it much less complicated than using a CLI, and you get to do things as the quote-unquote gods intended. All the links you need will be in the description, and they can also be found on RetroOnyx.com. Let me show you how to flash a selected ROM on your HyperBoy using Windows or a Windows VM, like in my case. Go ahead and download Thunderstruck's Flasher utility for the HyperBoy and plug your HyperBoy into the computer. If at this point your computer doesn't recognize the Flashcart, you'll need to download and install the drivers necessary to move forward. If your computer does recognize the HyperBoy, run the program called HyperBoy Flasher EXE. Now select Flash Game and choose the ROM you want to put on your cart, then click Flash. It may take a couple minutes to flash depending on the size of the ROM, but once it's complete, you can unmount it from the computer and enjoy the game you just flashed. The HyperBoy is a very sleek looking cart with its carbon fiber frame, aluminum shells, and beautifully etched details both on the front and back. The cart also has a pretty good heft to it and weighs at 57 grams. The HyperFlash32 weighs 52 grams, and the FlashBoy Plus weighs 36 grams, if anyone was curious and wanted to compare. It fits very snugly inside the Virtual Boy, but it is still easy to insert and remove from the system. If you want a HyperBoy of your own, you can purchase it from one of two places. The original website and source of them is Kevin's website, RetroOnyx.com. You can also now purchase them from StoneAgeGamer.com. The price for a HyperBoy is $160 plus shipping from Kevin's site and $165 plus shipping from StoneAgeGamer. These prices do not include the box. However, if you do want a box to go along with it, that is an extra $50. While the price may seem steep, it's a lot less when compared to the HyperFlash32 at $225. The FlashBoy Plus comes in a little cheaper at $135, however, it does not have as high of a capacity as the HyperBoy does. As always with Kevin's products, its quality is stellar and the end result is gorgeous. If you're a person that wants to experience the Virtual Boy library of officially released games and just a handful of the homebrew games, I would say maybe the FlashBoy Plus would be your best bet. But if you want to experience the homebrew games that are growing even larger and even better as time goes on, the HyperBoy is the one for the job on a budget. Well, that was my video on the HyperBoy. Let me know what you guys thought of the video and the product in the comments below. And until next time, guys, take care.